Most of us have seen this pen before, regardless of the country we live in. Likely, we've even used it during our school days, and we've probably seen one of our classmates using it. Many of us might even have this pen in our bag. The pen that we are referring to is known as the Bic Crystal. It was first introduced in 1950 and has since become incredibly popular in markets worldwide. This pen has gained a following in nearly every country in the world, to the extent that it sold 14 million units daily. In 2006, a statistical analysis was conducted to determine the number of followers of crystal pens to date. Surprisingly, the results showed that 100 billion pens had been sold, making it the best-selling product in history. What's even more remarkable is that the pen continues to be successful and sold to this day. Even after more than 70 years since its original design, the pen's design has remained unchanged. Researchers claim that this pen has had a significant impact on changing the way we live our lives. Let's take a trip back in time to understand the story behind it. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications to receive our new videos. Throughout history, humans have needed a tool to write with. From the days of writing on papyrus, leather, or wood, a pen made of wicker emerged as a suitable option. To create a wicker pen, individuals would sharpen one end of a piece of wicker, make it pointed, and then dip it in ink to use for writing. Over time, the issue of constantly dipping quills in ink became a problem. To solve this problem, people began to use goose feathers, which had a narrow cavity that could hold some ink. This invention made writing much more efficient, as it reduced the need to dip the feather in ink so frequently. After a short while, the ink pen appeared. It has a hollow tube with a metal nib on one end and a cap on the other. When we open the cap, we can fill the pen with ink and start writing as we please. Once the ink runs out, we can simply refill it again, eliminating the need to dip the nib in ink each time. Writing with a fountain pen of this type makes a significant difference. Despite its long-lasting popularity, it had some issues that prevented people from using it exclusively. The first issue with this type of fountain pen was its sharp and dry nib, which resulted in scratching of the paper and an uneven writing experience. The second issue was related to the ink. It was difficult to regulate the amount of ink that flowed from the nib, causing problems for children and students trying to use it. Moreover, the ink would often leak from the pen and create blockages. Apart from all the issues mentioned above, the ink in the pen used to dry up quickly, which required people to frequently disassemble the pen and clean it. Furthermore, ink pens were expensive, making it difficult for everyone to afford them. In the late 1800s, John Loud, an American lawyer, was attempting to invent a pen that had a small ball, or marble, as its tip. This brilliant concept would ensure that the ink would be distributed evenly on the paper, preventing any large quantities or stains from occurring while writing. In 1888, he successfully obtained a patent for this idea. Regrettably, there was a flaw in his design. The pen functioned adequately on hard surfaces, such as wood or cardboard. However, on regular paper, it was not the most efficient, and the ink would always leak. As a result, the pen failed to gain popularity in the market and eventually vanished from circulation. Over the years, various attempts were made by many people to create a similar model of this pen that can be used for writing on paper, but all of them failed for one reason or another. The gap between the small ball and the socket of the nib from the inside caused the ink to leak out continuously, and when they tried to fix the design by making the ball fill the socket, it still didn't work. The pen was not working properly. The ink did not flow smoothly when writing, causing discomfort and leaving the situation unresolved. It all changed when Hungarian journalist László J. Bíró came along and became the hero of our story. Bíró was extremely frustrated with regular ballpoint pens. Upon reflection, he realized that the problem did not lie in the way the tiny ball was inserted into the pen, but rather in the type of ink being used. The ink used in those pens was too runny, with a light consistency. This was because the inks being manufactured at that time contained water as a solvent. As a result, the ink did not adhere to itself and would easily leak from the nib. Biro attempted to create a new ink mixture by replacing the watery solvent with an oily one. Together with his brother, who was a chemist, he was able to develop a prototype of the pen, which was entirely made of metal. In 1938, he registered a patent for the invention in Paris. After traveling to Argentina, he and his brother established a company there in 1943. A few years later, a French investor named Marcel Biche offered to buy their patent for $2 million, and they agreed to the deal. The Biro pen was a successful invention, however. It faced a major issue. It was priced at $190 in today's currency. As a result, the inventor attempted to create a more affordable version of the pen that would be both practical and efficient while maintaining the same specifications. To achieve this, the inventor began utilizing equipment that was commonly used to produce watches. He created steel balls with a diameter of less than 1 millimeter. Instead of making the pen entirely out of metal, he acquired another machine to make the body out of transparent polystyrene. The design of the pen proved to be very successful, and it became so popular that it is still used today. So far, everything is approved. The pen's outer body was not smooth and cylindrical, but rather hexagonal in shape. This feature made it easier to hold and prevented it from rolling off the desk if placed down. As a result, the pen was less likely to fall to the ground and get damaged. The pen is made of transparent polystyrene plastic, which makes it sturdy and less prone to breakage. Additionally, it is easy to keep track of the ink level in the pen. The nib of the pen moves in a very professional manner, and the cavity that houses the steel ballpoint is designed in such a way that when you press down on the point, it rises slightly, allowing ink to flow. However, as soon as you lift the pen from the paper, the weight of the ball causes it to fall back into the socket and prevent any ink leakage. Therefore, the pen writes very smoothly and doesn't cause any mess. If you examine the pen closely, you will notice a small hole on the side. This hole is intentionally designed to allow air to enter the pen tube and prevent it from getting sealed. As you use the pen to write and the ink level decreases, the empty space in the tube gets filled with ink. But that's not all. The pen's design is quite impressive. Even the cap of the pen has a special feature. It is made of polypropylene, a material that can absorb shocks well. So, if you accidentally drop the pen, the cap will absorb the impact and protect the pen from damage. Moreover, the cap has a clip that allows you to attach the pen to your shirt pocket for easy access. In the past, it was considered impressive to clip a pen onto a shirt pocket. This was a common practice for many years. However, people would often put the pen in their mouth while writing and thinking. To avoid any choking hazards, the design of the pen cover was made to be open from above. This way, if someone accidentally swallowed the cap, they would not choke. The company chose to maintain the same design for its pen for over 70 years due to its creative design. The design remained unchanged throughout the years. In 1950, Marcel Biche estimated that he could reduce the cost of the pen from $190 to $2. The BIC translucent pen, also known as the BIC crystal pen, was an incredible invention. Its popularity quickly spread throughout the world due to its unique design and affordable price. Before the pen's invention in 1950, only 35% of the world's population knew how to read and write. However, after the introduction of the BIC pen, people began writing and reading more frequently, increasing the literacy rate to over 90%. This simple pen had a profound impact on the world, changing it forever.